time. Big vest guy.
Big vest guy.
Always the best.
Were you all here the whole time?
Yeah, for the most part.
That was fun.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Everybody good?
Yep.
All right, fire away.
Let's start with the energy. I think it was Elijah told us a couple weeks ago that you apologized when you first met with the guys for all the things you're going to say over the next 8-9 months or so. What goes into that, and how important is it to just get that out of the way? Say, guys, it ain't personal. I'm going to tear you apart when you need to be torn apart.
And it wasn't even that. It was just the positive, enthusiastic language sometimes that I use. It's always to build them up and exciting, and we have a really good time in our unit meetings, and they've just been an absolute joy to coach. You see Elijah's out here with Ship getting some extra work in afterwards. I mean, it's just he's a big time player, and having him back out on the edge, he had to play star last year a bunch, and now he's played almost pretty much 99% corner throughout the spring, and he's been really good for us. But just the bond that we've been able to create, the closeness in a short amount of time has been really cool.
With all your different experiences, when you've gone in and you're changing culture a little bit and you communicate a little bit differently, I'm sure there's a point where you see where each unit gets it, where they sort of connect with it. Is this unit at that point where they get it so far? They're fully connected with your style and approach?
So I think 2 Thursdays ago, we had a really good practice, and you could just see the confidence and the understanding of our blitz packages and our different schematics that we're using, the confidence, and then you saw it a bunch today as well. We shut some guys down early, but you could just see them flying around, being confident, communicating at a high level, and then whenever guys made big plays, celebrating together, having fun with it, and it's been a great journey. But I do want to appreciate Coach Chizik and all that the guys know about football. The schematics, the techniques, fundamentals, schemes. It is a very, very, very highly football intelligent group, and that's not by accident. I've been able to inherit some really good coaches on the staff, and the efforts that Coach Chizik put in, just schematically, and the mentality of understanding schematics has been, something that we could really build on, and then just bringing a little different vibe or edge or whatever it can be. Hopefully it'll continue to grow all the way until preseason.
Geoff, was that talking about that one Thursday? Mac told us he thought the offense might not have got a first down one of those days. Was that in any way a wow moment for you in terms of seeing the development happen in real time?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun practice, and the interesting thing that I was able to show them afterwards. So right now when practice ends, our sports science people, our strength staff, takes all of their catapult data and they run the numbers. By the time I get back to the lab, that data is going to be on where I sit in the lab. And that day was the highest speeds, highest player loads of the first 5 practices, and I explained to them, it's not necessarily the schematics that are making this the possibility to be really successful, it's how we're playing the game. The energy and the speed and the effort and flying around, and just being able to show that, and then maybe a practice that we didn't have that edge, we didn't have those same results, and I showed them the numbers relative to that as well. So.
Are those results, I'm sorry, real quickly, are those results great communicators? Are those results themselves, the information, great communicators in and of themselves?
And just showing the data points that this is, we can assign and attribute different factors to why we had success, but an overarching factor is how hard you played today. We did some good things and you executed at a high level. All those things are really good, but you compound that with how hard you play. That's what gives you a chance to have success.
Yeah, we were talking to Cayman the other day, and it was obviously, he was saying that before he had his surgery, he was kind of staying around to get some of the installs and things like that. How, crucial was it for him to kind of be around for that period before, obviously, he's going to be out for a short period of time?
Yeah, he's been amazing. We've got some amazing guys in the group, but he stands out. He was one of the first guys I talked to when I took the job. But just the how focused he is, how much he studies. He's in there with Coach Ted, and Coach Ted Montecchino is doing a tremendous job with him. But just how much he pours into it, to want to be great, and it's going to pay off. And I appreciate him for going through that period with us and getting us really, I think, what was his last practice? Saturday? Yeah. Saturday was his last practice, and he did great, and just excited for him, and Des Evans on the other side, and Bo Atkinson. Those are three really good players.
Who are some of those guys that Jack, or I guess now rush position with Cayman out that you kind of see? I know you mentioned Bo, but who are some of those other guys and you kind of see filling in and stuff?
So we've played Des there some as well. So him and Des and Bo have been on the field at the same time when Ruck's been out. There's some certain packages that Des will play that, and Ruck will play a different position as well. So we have all five of them on the field, or all three of those and two inside guys. Tyler Thompson has stepped up. Jabron Harvey has shown some really good things. The two freshmen, Daniel Anderson and Curtis Simpson, they've had a chance to elevate their reps and have done some really good. They got a ton of reps out here today, and so we're excited about that position, that room as a whole.
Geoff,
10 practices in, how do you characterize what you see with this defense now?
Yeah, I think they're understanding the schematics. They're understanding the families that we do our different packages in. So we're able to build off of that moving forward. But just the way they're playing the game, playing fast, playing physical, flying around all over the field, creating turnovers. I think we had 7 yesterday, created 7 turnovers yesterday. I think we had 1 today during the scrimmage. But just creating turnovers, getting the ball, and that is a byproduct of playing really fast, flying around. We want to play a lot of guys, and just finding the guys that can, if we can have 22 to 25 guys that are rolling through on defense, then I think it's sustainable, the effort throughout a game, and the effort sustained throughout the season as well. So we're working really hard to find those guys, who those guys are. And what we did today is we threw a lot at them. I mean, so Saturday the ACC network is here, so we'll probably be a little more base in what we show on TV. Just play sound, good fundamental football, play really hard. So today we did a lot of pressures. We put a lot of people. I tried to put a lot of people on islands today, and just to see how they handled one-on-one situations. And so there were some good matchups today, and I thought the receivers did really good. Our corners won some, the receivers won some, but was intentional about putting them in those kind of stressful situations to see who can be in that 22, 25 guys that are going to rep on Saturdays for us.
There have been conversations with Travis. Mac was telling us about him kind of living up to what the potential is. You weren't here the first 2 years, but I'm sure you've heard about how things went. Where is he right now? And maybe quickly climbing that scale.
Sure.
That's our understanding, is that he is actually finally doing that. So where is he in your estimation?
I've been blessed to coach some big-time defensive tackles in my career, and Travis Shaw is as physically gifted as them. And he's come to work every single day with a great attitude. He plays really, really hard. He's playing with technique. He's playing with fundamentals. I don't know if y'all noticed, at one point during the scrimmage, he gathered the defense up, and it was awesome. Yeah. And just he sits right here during the unit meetings, and he is dialed in. He's a great young man. He's a great player, but he's actually playing the game the right way right now, preparing at a high level, studying the game plan or the schematics that we're doing, and I'm really proud of him. So, and I told the story to the players. So at nighttime, so my wife and daughter, still back in Atlanta. So nighttime, I usually tell her stories. Well, she wants to know about Daddy's football players, so I'll tell her about 3 or 4 of our players a night, talk through, and I go numerical order, and I talk through the guys and tell them about the guys, where they're from, what position, height, weight, all those kind of things. With Travis, I can only talk about Travis, because that's going to take me a while to talk through with his personality, just his spirit. And I think Javari Ritzy's playing at a really high level too. And Scoob, Kevin Hester, is playing at a really high level too. I mean, he's a very strong, physical human, and he's just doing a really good job for us in the middle. And having those 3 guys rotating, and then we got to find out who the next one will be. Joel, Rodney Laura, those guys that are in the mix on the inside as well.
Did you recruit Kevin when he was in high school? Because he started playing that spring
Sure.
in his junior year. Did you have much interaction with him back then?
The whole recruiting process with your head coach, it all runs together. So I can't remember.
Geoff, I wanted to, not to belabor Travis, but I did want to ask you about him too, because like AJ was saying, we've heard some pretty positive
Sure.
reports,
Yep.
and the first he came in with such hype
Right.
about himself as a high school player. What have you tried to tell him? Because Mac was saying that he's had some good talks with Monachino, with Brian
Sure.
Simmons.
Yep.
Like, what do you want Travis hearing from you?
Well, one of the biggest things is with all of this is the relationship piece. I've tried to go out of my way to build relationships with these guys because I want to know them. And if you're going to coach somebody and you're going to get the most out of them, you need to know, what makes them tick and who they are. And I think just having the relationships, having a good relationship with Travis, and being able to find, his motivation, where his buttons are, all those kind of things, so he can get the most out of his God-given ability. I think that's the huge piece. And I think Coach Brown, it's such an honor to get to work for him, but just the people that Coach Brown has surrounded these players with is amazing. And the level of care that each individual that is in this organization has for our players, from the nutrition staff, to the training room, the strength and conditioning, the player development office. I mean, it's special. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason, and just surrounding the guys with positive people is just awesome.
Communication staff.
100%. 100%. I bet, Jeremy.
Also with Travis, obviously very vocal guy, especially today. How much do you see, I guess, his vocal presence also kind of being asked? You mentioned when he was gathering guys together.
Yep.
But how much of a
Yeah, he's awesome to be around. So we do a thing on scrimmage days where we'll have unit meetings, and at the beginning of unit meetings, usually I'll just start and go through the awards from the previous practice, whatever. But on scrimmage days, we start the thing off. You've got to find 3 people that aren't at your position and dap them up and give them some love. Well, Travis does every single kid on the defense. He's dapping up the coaches, the GAs, every single player. So he's just a fun energy and personality to be around.
Who is the voice on the defense? Last
Power
year's
Eccles.
Power.
Power Eccles.
He
Awesome.
told us he was
And-
learning from Cedric Gray last year. and
Sure.
Power early on wasn't super vocal. So
Sure.
how have you seen that since you arrived?
Yeah, he's awesome. And this is a little side note, but yesterday was my birthday, and we had a unit meeting, and right when I started the unit meeting, Power had them all sing happy birthday. It was a cool moment. But he's the one that breaks the defense down at the end of every meeting. He works so hard. He's so driven. He's so focused. Him and Kamen do a great job with the mentality, the mindset, the focus of the entire unit. And I think one of the guys that's emerging as well is Des Evans. As a presence, as a leader, he's playing really hard. He had a tremendous offseason, and he's liked and respected by all the guys. So it's been nice to see a bunch of guys have stepped up. Stick Lane, I can say a lot of people that have done a real Huzzy, that have done a nice job in the leadership role that we need to continue to grow.
In your defense, Geoff, if you are a corner or a DB, do you have to be ready to get in there and harass the quarterback? I mean, it looks like those guys
Sure.
You got them coming.
Yeah, we're not going to talk too much schematics, but yes, it's an aggressive defense, and there's for pretty much everybody within the scheme has their opportunity or multiple opportunities to add pressure to the quarterback. But the biggest thing too is they got to be able to cover and just understand the nuances of the leverages that we play in the different coverages, those kind of things. There were 2 balls that we got beat on today. It was just pure leverage by the young guys, and then just understanding the seam divider rules, all those kind of things. It takes time, and as multiple as we are, but they'll get it because they're talented enough to do it. But there is my job, the way I see it as a coordinator, is to constantly move stress around. I don't want one position or one guy to be stressed out 70 plays of every game.
Sure, yeah.
So my job, the way I see it, is just moving that stress around and making sure the guys are in the right spot and taking stress off of them so they can make some plays.
And maybe along with that, do you see, I understand it's April 11th or whatever
Sure.
it is. I mean, do you see the pieces, do you think you have the pieces to pressure the way you want to
I do.
do it?
I do. And the we're throwing a lot at them, and as I learn what different guys can do,
Sure, yeah.
I'll know, what their strengths are, where things need to be moved around to help them. So that's part of the paradigm, whatever, that we're trying to work through. That we're throwing a lot at them. So like today wasn't a game plan thing. I was just cycling through calls to put different guys in stressful situations, and a bunch of guys rose to the occasion and had a bunch of pressure, and it'll be good to go back and watch the tape.
When we
Got time for one more.
when we talked to you in January, you spoke about how much you missed it when you were out, and some of the things you did to go around and see it. And
Yep.
you could smell it and taste
Yep.
it, but you can't dive in there and coach.
100%.
Now that you're 4 months in, I guess 10 practices in the spring.
Right.
How much does that kind of reinforce how much you missed it
Right.
last year, and how did maybe missing it help you?
So I'm very appreciative of every single day that I get to come in here and work for Coach Brown and be around these guys, to be in the lab. I mean, I have a blast. There's like 10 of us that sit in the lab all day, every day, and watch the practices, watch old tape, watch our future opponents tape, all those kind of things, and just sitting there and talk ball. I miss my wife and daughter dearly, right? Because they're still back in Atlanta. They'll be up for the spring game, and is this time for a plug for the spring game?
Yeah,
Hopefully
give it
everybody comes out and supports the guys, because they've been working so hard, and they need your support. But
April 20th,
my wife and daughter will be up here. Thankful to them for being able to give me this opportunity to be here, do what I love to do, with people that I've grown to love in a very short time, and I'm having an absolute blast. I'm getting to learn from a Hall of Famer and just coach defense and draw up some blitzes and some cool coverages, and come out here and yell and scream and get hyped for 2 hours. I'm having a blast.
Do some push-ups when guys hit the quarterback.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I ask one last
People
thing?
like that.
Yeah.
One
that
quick
right?
thing.
Yeah.
Where did Money Down come from? I know when you were Georgia Tech, all those
So
money
we-
downs,
so
even the
okay,
PA guy was saying it.
So at Florida, so my first spring at the University of Florida with Jim McElwain, I think it was practice 3, we were going to do third downs. And Mac was like, we need to come up with something cool, something to make sure guys understands the situation, all of these things. So this was Jim McElwain saying this, and I go in there and I just start bouncing it around. I'm like, well, let's go out there and call it Money Down. Let's make some signs. I think somebody still has the original Money Down sign that was drawn in Sharpie, and it just kind of took off and has followed me wherever we've gone. And the emphasis on it around here is huge. I think in the scrimmage Saturday we were, 15 of 20 getting third down stops. So it's, winning on first down, winning on second down creates good third down opportunities. We're ahead of the sticks, and so we're working on that every single day. But that's where it started, University of Florida. Yep.
All righty.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.